Come on, you know what these train journeys are like. You can't pass Agra without having some petha.
I don't know about Agra and Petha, but I do know Allahabad and Amrud. And you know, Allahabad ke station mein jo Amrud milta hai na, if you cut it, it's red from the inside.
Oh, and you chilko that namak on it.
Yeah, you
What
do.
is that? It's not namak. It's kind of
Masala. Chaat masala and mirchi powder and a whole other things.
Nice. Oh, talking about stations and all. You know, when you go to Firozabad, you have to buy chudiyan. You have to buy bangles. Yeah.
But do they actually come to the station selling churis?
Of course, if that's what the town is known for, that's what they sell.
Oh, I also know Nagpur and oranges.
Is it?
Yeah.
So you're into fruits, I see. Amrood.
Yeah. And you, strangely, are into churis and petha.
That's the way it is.
And welcome to the Shabby and Man podcast.
We're partners, parents.
Podcasters, broadcasters.
And everything else in between.
Now, I don't know if...
अच्छा दोस्तों ये बात ये बतानी थी कि now you might have noticed that there's no underlying music because we can't find the actual thing. They've changed the thing on the phone.
On the phone, yes.
Because we just press play and publish.
Yeah,
and there used to be a choice to put some background music, which they've taken away, I think.
Yeah, it's okay. I think our conversation is riveting enough. They don't need to listen to the music.
Well, keep your fingers crossed.
What are we going to be talking about today? We thought we'd talk about train journeys.
I know that.
We talk about a few childhood memories, London, India, everything in the mix. Put everything in the mix.
You have childhood memories of London?
No, I don't have childhood memories. Fortunately, I don't. I grew up in a far more exotic country than you did.
Yeah, so now you know that I'm a London boy. I was a London boy till I was about 9. Then I was sent away. But that's a different story.
Yeah.
And then I came back again when I was about 19. I came back again when I was about 15, 16, and then back again when I was 19. So a London boy, did Camden Town, used to walk up to Soho, knew it inside out. But at the same time, what you probably don't know is that I lived up north for a couple of years. I studied up north.
What do you mean by up north?
Well, that's the thing. Up north, in the north of England. But people
where it's supposed to be very grim.
Where it's supposed to be quite cold. Just above Watford is up north. And I really was not that far up north. I was in between Birmingham and Manchester. I'm saying two huge places that you heard of. Yeah? It was a place called Staffordshire. Stafford. And it was wonderful. I used to speak the lingo. I used to catch the bus. And I used to run a bath. All those sort of things. While a year before that I was in India eating samosa, but then it was fantastic. I really loved it. And the thing was, on every weekend I used to live in a tiny village, a beautiful village, and I think for the first month no one used to give me a lift. I used to walk 1 mile to the main high street. Or luckily there was a kid's
You
bus.
were a student then, right?
I was a student, I was a student. And there was a guy, Paul Bond, wherever you are, he used to have a motorbike. And he used to give me a lift. So there was one guy who used to give me a lift up to the top of the road. Then I used to catch a bus into town, whatever. And it was a very picturesque village. I lived on top of a post office. There was one red line pub. I used to play dominoes. And once you get to know the people, then everyone is very nice. But it took a month for them to get around to seeing someone with different skin tone. And I'm talking about 24 years ago.
24 years ago.
All right, maybe 25.
You've definitely done your maths right. How do you think life up north is different from life in London? I know London is this buzzing metropolis, which is where everything happens. But
London was virtually the same 20 years ago. It wasn't that much different. All this food and all that you see here in this eclectic melting pot happened in the last 20 years, I'd say.
In fact, a lot of people say...
You have no idea what King's Cross was like 20 years ago, do you?
No, I believe it was quite a seedy place, right?
It wasn't quite a seedy place.
You would keep it quiet if you said, I spent an evening in King's Cross.
You definitely would.
Yes. And in fact, your mum says this often, that even shops...
My mum caught me in King's Cross.
No, that even this culture of shops being open 24/7 or, being open till this late is very new. She said Sundays, everything used to be closed, and Thursdays,
one of the first ones
used to close early.
we used to have this American shop near us called 7-Eleven, which was a huge thing, because it used to be open till 11 at night. That was quite big.
You mean there were none of these coffee festivals, tea festivals and all of this that London's known for? 20 years ago there was none of this?
Oh, in London?
Yeah.
There probably was. I wasn't aware of it. But up north, I used to sit in these wonderful tea rooms where you'd have a cup of tea, a slice of cake. There were a lot of tourists there because a lot of the potteries are there. People used to come for their cups and saucers. A lot of Japanese tourists used to come. Alton Towers is there.
This wasn't near where Wedgwood is made, is it?
Yeah, I think all that Alton,
more or less the same.
It's all near there.
Yeah.
So a lot of tourists, and I used to go every Saturday to the main market and have fudge. I remember. I don't know why I've got these memories of fudge there.
You have strange food memories, because every time you tell the story of your boarding school days and you talk about that trip up from Kathgodam to Nainital, there's something else that you mention each time, which is...
I'll tell you what it is. Now, I'm glad that you mentioned it, because when I used to... So as I was saying, I used to catch a train all the way to my boarding school from my grandparents' house probably in Gorakhpur. So first of all, you had to go to Lucknow and catch the train from Lucknow. So I can't remember what it was, one of those Howrah Express kind of things. So from Lucknow to Bareilly to Haldwani to Kathgodam, and that was the closest station to my boarding school. It was in the foothill of the Himalayas. Then you had to catch a bus and go up that winding road for 2 hours or something. So this memory I have is of eating jamun with my friends when we got onto the bus, and then someone being violently sick by the time we got to the top.
Talk about food associated with journeys. I mean, we used to go to Calcutta from wherever my father was stationed, because my grandparents lived in Calcutta, every summer during the holidays. And the Rajdhani Express was known for its curries. The Rajdhani Express served some fantastic food as well. And my first memories of eating at railway stations, or eating when the train has stopped for a little while.
Are you talking about the actual meal that you just get on the train?
The actual meal was something we loved as well, but also
I used to be too scared to eat that.
A trip. Yeah, I'm guessing that even we didn't eat too much of that, but there wasn't.
But they used to give me a banana so that you didn't go to the loo, I think.
No, not on the Rajdhani Express, not that I can remember. But
maybe
from Delhi to Calcutta,
maybe yours was a very posh train.
It was. We travelled air-conditioned chair car those days, and it passed some very, very good stations. Good in the sense, big stations, big junctions. The train from Delhi to Calcutta, Howrah rather.
Howrah Junction.
Howrah Junction.
Is that's a movie as well, I think.
And it's I remember some of the curries that were served on the, in fact many people include them in their recipe books as well, the Madras, this curry or that curry. Rajdhani Express used to serve some very good food actually.
Talking about trains and stations, one of my underlying memories is I seem to love railway stations, is in on the border of UP. I used to go into the canteen, the railway canteen, and have an egg omelette with a cup of tea, all served in these white...
Omelette egg ka hi banta hai. You mean a masala omelette?
What did I say?
Egg omelette.
Oh. You know the way people say, I'm having a naan bread.
Yes.
Egg omelette bhi hota hai.
So what would you have? Egg omelette and?
And I'd have a cup of tea.
Double roti.
And I had a cup of tea in this white porcelain cups. And if I could afford it, I'd have a cutlet. I think it was called a mutton cutlet.
Possibly.
You're the train wali, don't you?
Does that where your fascination for white porcelain cups come from?
It does, I expect.
Because every time you go to John Lewis, I see you making a beeline for white porcelain. Though, of course, I imagine the ones that you're eyeing now and buying now cost a bit more than the railway canteen ones.
I don't know.
The fascinating thing that I've noticed in London is that so many of these underground stations are now being turned into food courts. Some of them as pop-ups, others on a more permanent basis. There's that one near...
They have food courts in the station?
In the station. Was it Chiswick? Where was
Fulham,
the last one?
Fulham. Oh, yes,
we went to Fulham, right? And it had a beautiful, beautiful courtyard which had been turned into a little food place. And now I believe you went there the other day. You were talking about...
Victoria Station, right opposite.
What did you think of that?
Where it is, it's called the Market Hall. Many, many years ago, it used to be a very famous nightclub in London called Pasha. Now, of course, it's a food hall.
And was it any good? I mean, does it
it's
have...
good. It's thriving. It's buzzing. The crowd was much younger than me, I think.
I mean, it makes sense because you know that there's going to be a steady stream of people passing through and there'll always be hungry...
there's lots of restaurants around
hungry
there.
Passengers, travellers.
These are quite hip. Hep. Is the word hip or hep?
It's both. I think in India they say hep.
This, always get confused with some words I've learnt in India, some words I've learnt here. I'm never sure if I'm saying garage or garage, those sort of things.
Yeah, I think it's the correct word probably is hip, but in India we say hep. It's very hep. Yeah, I think this food courts in railway stations is possibly the next step up for the street food revolution to kind of make its base. I see, and London has so many beautiful promenades which could easily be turned into lovely
They actually have
pop-ups.
turned Curb is a lovely street food market.
Curb is, yeah.
They've just
Even King's Cross,
they've
not
opened
exactly.
up in Covent Garden. You're right, King's Cross as well. Curb is in King's Cross as well.
And Thursdays, Fridays, King's Cross, even in the courtyard outside, which is not covered, there's row upon row of food stalls, and I think they have something to do with borough.
You're making this show very London centric today.
Yes, well, we are Londoners, and so I think we should talk about London more often.
Yeah.
अच्छा लिसन, खाने की बातें बहुत हो गई हैं. Let's go and make something और खाना खाते हैं.
This is a gazab ka idea. Good idea. Now, just एक request मेरी.
क्या?
कि when you're serving me the food, or when you made it, can you just say, just to give that authentic feel, can you just say chai, garam garam chai?
I wish I could, but I don't think Instagram has the audio option yet.
True, but it does have an option to find and follow us. And that you can do by going to
The Shabby and Man podcast site. We're on Instagram as Shabby and Man. We're on Facebook as Shabby and Man.
And we're on Twitter as well as Shabby and Man Podcast. So
thank you so much for tuning in, for following. Ciao. Min.
Min?
Ciao Min.
Oh, Ciao Min. That's a bad one.